Welcome to the best Commander podcast in the world, returning after a little hiatus.
We are back by demand, and we're showing you some of the most overrated cards we can think of right now.
At least ones we want to talk about, man, because there's other ones. I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
And I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us, the Nitpicking Nerds, coming at you 4K in 4K. 4K being 4,000 subscribers, 4K being 4K video quality.
I'm glad that you explained afterwards because I was like, you just didn't say what either thing meant.
I think they know.
They just knew that we had 4K subs, even though some of them are listening on a podcast that would have no way of ever seeing that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, we're talking about some overrated cards in EDH.
Not meant to tell you that you're bad or take all these cards out. I just think they see too much play, and we'll explain why, and you don't have to listen or agree or disagree. It's up to you.
Okay, so the first one. This is already one I know people are going to comment in the comments because I've already seen people comment in the comments of us saying we don't like this guy very much.
It is. I just don't. I've never really seen the need to play this card, but whatever. I wouldn't get into it.
It's Sylvan Library. And I know people love this card. A lot of people really love this card, but in EDH, I just don't see it.
What does it do?
Well, basically, you draw your card, and then when you do draw your first card on the turn, you draw 2 extras, and then if you want to put any of them in your hand, you can pay, 4 life for each one of them. Otherwise, put them back in any order.
Right, so it's either look at the top 3 and draw one of them, or pay 4 life, draw the 2 best out of the top 3, or pay 8 life, draw 3.
That's a lot of life.
8 life is not. I'm not doing that. I don't know. This doesn't you're green. Green has so many better ways to draw cards in this.
They're mostly creature-based draws, and every time you cast a creature spell, you can draw a card in almost every green deck, and if you're playing green, you should have a lot of creatures in your deck.
It's just tough to vocalize. I just don't think this card is all it's hyped up to be. It's a fine card. It does stuff. It draws cards in green, but that's not like unheard of like it was back when this card was printed.
There's a million. There's so many. It's all creature based. Like I said, if you're casting creatures and you're playing green, you're going to be able to draw cards with things like Beast Steer, Guardian Project, the Soul Harvester. How many versions of that card are there?
Just stuff like Tireless Tracker. I don't know. Tireless Tracker is amazing.
It's much. Yeah.
That just stocks you up cards. I don't get it. Maybe you guys in the comments, I'm sure we'll have discussions, but Sylvan Library is one I don't get.
Another thing about Sylvan Library is, unless you're continually paying life, you're only it's basically like topping on your upkeep a lot of times. But then you have to pay lots of life.
Topping is worth nothing. I don't care about that really. I'd rather just get more card velocity. And if I have to pay 4 life every turn, it says it's Phyrexian Arena, which we don't like, but it's 4 life? Ugh.
I mean, also, if you're not shuffling your library, this card is significantly worse.
Oh, yeah, you have to have lots of shuffles. I mean, even with the benefit of the doubt, though, you would assume. So maybe the deck that wants this is a deck that is not creature-based. It's maybe an enchantment-based deck where you can draw a card off the cast trigger of this, and then, you have to shuffle your library a lot.
So
and you can't be blue. I wouldn't play this in any blue deck.
Yeah, I'd say Gruul, Mono Green.
Gruul Enchantments is the deck for you, Sylvan Library.
Yeah, maybe if you're playing like a Gruul Lands Matters deck where you're not casting a ton of creatures. That's not impossible.
I challenge Sylvan Library players to just kind of switch it for something else that maybe draws more cards for less life and faster. Because it's still slow.
Mm-hmm. I'd say Sylvan Library is probably the best when you play it on turn 2. And the later and later and later and later you go into the game, the worse and worse this card gets.
It's just like Phyrexian Arena 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I played Phyrexian Arena on the 3rd last turn. I'm sorry.
If you play it on the 3rd turn, it's okay.
Phyrexian Arena is not on here because we're very open about how much we don't like that card. And how we will we'll never play it. Number 2 is Lightning Greaves / Swiftfoot Boots. I want to clarify, everything we're saying is overrated, which means we think that the general community places it higher than we would. I'm not saying Lightning Greaves and Swiffer Boots are bad and go in no decks, but they go in way too many.
No, we put them in tons of decks when we do tune-ups. The decks that they fit in.
The decks where the commander has to attack or like is vital to the game plan in such a way that the deck's almost a little janky without the commander.
I mean, the good example is like Kalia. Oh, she wants boots. She wants boots really bad because she really needs to attack.
Needs them. She's so bad without them.
Yeah, like if you have to go a whole turn cycle with your Kalia not dying, it's really tough.
To the point where, like, past these two, I'm playing other ways to give Kalia haste. Maybe some static, like enchantments or like Hammer Perforos, maybe. I don't know.
Ugh.
You need something.
But regardless, you don't need this if your commander, if it just doesn't call for it. I remember I used to have this in, like, Maelstrom Wonder. It's like, why would this in Maelstrom Wonder ever?
Right. You don't. It has haste. You don't need to protect. And that's a commander you want to die. So you just don't even need to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because people were like, boots are amazing. Put boots in all your EDH checks.
Like, Carador? No. It's not a creature. Doesn't synergize with anything. Just because I want Carador out doesn't mean anything. I'll just play more creatures, so Carador always costs 3. Any of those cost reduction, like Tassiger and stuff like that, where they can reduce themselves, Leisha and Emery, I guess. Who cares? Don't worry about it.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of commanders where you're just like, well, they can die. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, they're there to bolster the strategy that they're not the strategy.
So it's almost always, as long as your commander if your commander needs to attack is when you care. Because even when you want to protect your commander, there's better ways. A lot of times, like, because protecting her only from spot removal or him, I don't know. I just,
right, we're not talking protector. We're talking protector from spot removal.
Yeah, because
board wipes kill them anyway.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean go ahead. I want to talk about another overrated card really quick because I just thought of this stupid card. Is Darksteel Plate, because Darksteel Plate is another card that people put in to protect their commander. It's like it's
stinky.
It just protects it from spot removal that destroys. It's not even spot removal.
Well, hold up, because Greaves having an activation of 0 and Boots at 1 are one thing. They can still spot remove it in response to the equip. And 3 is like, I just paid 6 mana, and I'm like, okay, everybody, if you have something, now I'm begging you to do it instead of just, all right, here's my guy, I'm going to get value from it. You want to kill it? Okay.
All the like really good board wipes don't destroy. Not all of them. A lot of the really good board wipes don't even destroy.
They just get right around it.
Toxic Deluge, Tragic Arrogance.
Those are like 2 of the best ones.
I'm trying to think of even a card I don't like very much. I think is overrated. Merciless Eviction that sees a lot of play. It's like that. They just exile.
Terminus is all right.
Terminus is fine card, especially in a control type deck.
Yeah. There's another one, but I can't remember what it was.
What board wipe that gets around it?
Yeah, I just don't remember.
There's a ton of them.
Rift. Does that count?
Yes, it does. I mean, it's Iconic Rift just doesn't care about anything, to be fair.
Yeah, that guy doesn't care about fun.
What's the next one?
The next one, which I guess we will say is number 4. Blightsteel Colossus. We hate this card, and we make fun of it every chance we get. And we're not going to stop. It's our personality.
You gotta, I mean, this fits in very few decks, and I'm not saying 0 because for the first time on a tune-ups with the new Perforos, we put it in there.
Yes, I will sneak attack this into play.
Yes, It is a fine card to sneak attack into play. It is not a card to get in play and then try and wait a whole turn cycle, and then you attack once and they have a 2/2, and now you've done essentially no damage to them.
You've accomplished. They have a 2/2, and you did nothing.
I mean,
I don't get it. It's indestructible. That's all it has. That's all it has going for it. There's plenty of ways to get around indestructibility.
Yeah, we actually just talked about how a lot of good board wipes just get around indestructibility.
The most played spot removal, even Crackling Doom, Swords to Plowshares, and Single Target Rift. All just okay. What are you doing? Oh, that looks embarrassing for you.
Yeah, especially because when you're playing Blightsteel, you're usually if you can't if you can't cheat him in play, don't play him. If you can't cheat him in play, then something like a Rift looks real silly, where it's like, oh, I cheated him in the play, and now he's back in my hand.
This is different from the dies to removal argument, I think, because you play him. All right, well, he doesn't have haste. Whole turn cycle. Okay, now you have to attack somebody. Who isn't going to have 2 toughness? No one. So you've done nothing, essentially. And now we're back to the 3rd turn where you're somehow still have Blades of Colossus and nobody is coming up with an answer for it. And you're attacking the same person, and I have to imagine they can do something. It doesn't seem like a basket I want to put my eggs in.
I could not agree with you more that this card is super overrated, so overrated.
And half of it is not half of it. Part of it is that people don't like to rate cards like this. How many opening hands does this card come up where you're like, all right, this is a 6-card hand. I have Blightsteel Colossus in it. I don't want it here. I don't need it here. It's never going to get cast. It's not part of my, it's wasting a spot in my opening hand.
Yeah, well, and it feels awful every time it wastes a spot in your opening hand. Because I don't know if you know this, but mulliganing doesn't feel good, ever.
No, not even when you get the free one. I don't want to take the free mulligan. I just want to keep 7 and start playing Commander.
I don't mind taking the free one. After that is when it gets sketchy.
I don't know. See, when you take your free one, you're like, oh, one more and I have to go down to 6.
That's a really bad way to think about it.
What are you talking about? You don't want a mulligan.
I know, but you have to take...
Nobody wants to mulligan.
I'll take my free mulligan, though. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I obviously still do.
What's the next one?
The number 5 is every green signet and every green talisman. Unless you have an artifact-based deck, I think these should see play in this many decks.
Well, you should probably say
for those podcast listeners, held up none.
Yeah, I do have a deck that has these in them. It's because it's you want all the 2-mana ramp you can have in the deck.
Yeah, you're playing. It's like a no synergy deck too. Like you just don't have any synergy in that deck. It's just I need to play a ramp spell on turn 2, 3, 4, and then play my commander, which is Maelstrom Wanderer.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense in a deck like that, but it's hard to come up with most decks just don't want these. If you go into a Gruul deck, you can just go all green based land ramp and not need these at all.
Yeah, we can get into other things we like to do for ramp later, other alternatives, but I don't see why would you want to put a vulnerable permanent out when you could put an essentially invulnerable permanent out instead. Yeah,
especially because he's all ramp 1 and there's a lot of these. There's so many 2-mana spells.
How many Gruul and Celestia decks care about creatures? Most of them?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You get either creature-based ramp, which is awesome, or you get permanent land-based ramp, which is also awesome.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think if you're playing them, that's cool. Check to see if there's other ramp that's synergized with your commander, because I guarantee you there is.
Or the other thing, if this just doesn't synergize with your commander anyway, maybe look into other ramp. Look.
I think I just said that.
I don't think that's what you said.
I think I did. Well, whatever. One of those two things is what you should do. Number 6 is just Counterspell. The card Counterspell. It's a little bit overrated. I don't really play this card much.
This is a card where it's it has homes and decks again. Most of these cards have room in certain decks. This one specifically starts getting troublesome, especially when you start hitting 3 colors.
Yeah, 2 doesn't feel that great.
It's I want to, and Counterspell's always a 1-for-1.
Yeah, as far as 2-mana Counterspells go, Counterspell's kind of far down at this point.
What are the other ones?
Well, Arcane Denial and Narcissus Reversal are 2 that I can think of off the top of my head that are just way better. And I'd rather play those.
Obviously, Mana Drain's a ton better, but that's...
Yeah, Mana Drain's better. I'm putting it up. That matters.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't saying it didn't count.
Swan Song is 1 mana and better.
And how many counterspells you want to put in your deck? Because at the end of the day, most counterspells are 1-for-1.
Yeah, which is why you got to use stuff like Arcane Denial. Okay, get your card back. And you don't need to play 6 or 7 counterspells in most decks anyway. Yeah. You're just playing 2 or 3 to kind of protect against board wipes or some other stuff.
Yeah, and then the decks where you're playing, somewhere between 6 and 10, you're usually playing some of the bigger ones, the big good ones that
Mystic Confluence.
Exactly. Where you start getting these advantages from playing them. Okay, I counter your spell unless you pay 3 and I draw 2. It's you start playing cards like that.
Yes. I guess while we're at it, Pact of Negation and Force of Will are better.
Force of Negation and Force of Will, yeah. And Pact.
I don't know about Force of Negation, but Pact of Negation and Force of Will.
Force of Negation also. Force of Negation is really good.
That's stupid.
It's a very, very...
They're all the same card.
They're all really, really good Magic cards.
I guess we can lump Void Slime and Disallow with Counterspell, except I wanted to put them in a different spot because I think these cards should almost never see play. I think they're horrible.
I think Void Slime is a card that should never see play. I think Disallow is a card that should only see play in a budget deck.
A budget deck? No, not... Okay. We have to... I guess we should have done a preamble, but obviously... We're not talking about CDH, and we're not talking about budget, because that completely warps every single deck decision you make. And then we're talking about 70% EDH decks. The decks that everyone kind of agrees are we're trying to tune this deck to be good.
Okay.
I have money to make this deck good, and I don't think you should really ever even go near these. The 3 mana for a 1-for-1, kind of a lot, when it doesn't, you have to, because it's not as versatile as something like Beast Within. where you can just say, okay, whatever's out, I'll kill it. You have to go, all right, I want that to resolve. No, and then when you counter something, you also lose the chance for anyone else to kill it. Another thing about counter spells, if you stack your deck with too many of them, is if everybody's got spot removal in their hand, like all 4 of you, but you counter a spell, well, you give up the chance for someone else to answer it for you. If it's like that big of a problem, you have to counter it because you don't have like you have a counter spell, not spot removal. But they're just like, oh, okay, I probably would have removed that, but they countered it. You have to act first. It's weird.
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
No, I'm saying that's one of the problems with stacking your deck with too many counter spells in general.
I guess, yeah, that could be a problem. I think that's more of like overthinking it.
Maybe.
At that point. I mean, I still think that these cards don't see any play anywhere, or shouldn't see any play anywhere, really.
Oh, yeah, no, they're just... The activated ability is not worth the mana, and this is worse than just almost everything. Every other counterspell, just the below 3 has got to be a little bit... Like, negate, I'd rather play.
The next one is Murari's Wake. This doubles your mana, and it also gives your creatures +1/+1, which I think the +1/+1 is almost irrelevant, and now we're talking about...
How much mana is it?
It costs 5 mana.
3 green, white. I mean... I'm so on this.
Mana doublers are tough.
How much mana do you have left after you spend 5? You have to go a turn before you get your investments worth? And I just don't... I'm not seeing it. I don't see where this is, like, great. I don't like Zendikar's Zendikar Resurgent either. Or at least that one draws you cards.
It's one of those cards where it has to go a turn cycle usually before you can get any value, and then it's one of those, like, oh, I hate this permanent. It's one of those, like, it draws a lot of attention, so it ends up getting removed often. And having to go a turn cycle around for a card to start getting really good is when cards struggle. There's, like, multiple cards in this list already. We've talked about that.
That's one thing we don't like here at the Nitpicking Nerds is having to wait a whole turn cycle before a card has any text.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so many cards like that.
Yeah.
Phyrexian Reek is the ultimate example of a card where it's like, you have to go that turn cycle. And
I got my card back.
And then you got your card back.
I got an advantage of 1 card 2 turn cycles later. Whew. Murari's Wake, I just don't think a lot of decks even care about the extra mana. If you're playing like a tokens deck, you're like, oh, all right, pump my creatures and I have double mana. It's like, just play something that pumps your creatures a lot and just kill somebody.
Well, decks definitely care about the mana. Like I said, I think if you play this and then you untap with it, it's very good.
Right, no, it's fine. Mana doublers that I like, though, there's so few. There's High Tide, if that counts. Mana Flare, depending on what deck you're in, and like Heartbeat of Spring. Those are so cheap that you can get all the mana back.
I like Zendikar Resurgent because it starts, at least if you untap with it, so it costs 7 mana, so you have to untap with it again. But if you untap with it, it starts both drawing you cards and giving you insane amount of mana.
Yeah, I like Zendikar Resurgent a little bit more. That's still a card I would never play, but I've seen it be good.
I think that card is perfect. I think it's more reasonable because, like, you put in a deck where you have lots of creatures. You have to go. It's 2 more mana. You have to untap still, which is still a rough thing about the card. But you cast 1 creature, you draw a card, and now you can just chain creatures together with all that extra mana.
Let's say you play this on turn 7, and then it produces 2 additional mana right away, that's probably a typical scenario, right? And then you untap with it, and then now you play your 8th land, and then this makes 8 mana. So you spent 5 mana to get 10? It's all right. If you think about it like that, it's kind of just fine.
Good, but you had to untap with it.
Yeah, 5 mana, had to untap with it, and you got 2 right away. Profit of a couple.
This is a card that...
I don't know, we could talk about this forever.
There's probably other synergies, too. I'm sure if there's ways that you have to tap and untap your lands and really abuse this.
Like Mages of the Candelabra. Okay.
Yeah, if
you're getting somewhere now, but I really want to see the synergies with it. Maybe you drew a card because it's an enchantment. Okay. Maybe you can reanimate all enchantments from the graveyard when it dies. Well, now we're talking, but I just don't want to jam this.
Yeah, if you're gonna
in any deck, it's like I said, it's overrated. It's not unplayable.
Yeah, if you're gonna replenish this thing back in play, okay, that's
not bad.
That's not bad because I got my 5 mana thing that's probably not gonna do much this turn, but I also got back all my 10 other enchantments.
Yeah, I love that card. Replenish is so good.
It's a silly card.
It's just great.
It's a very silly Magic card, and that's
It's on the reserve list, right? So if I were you and I had $40 lying around, I'd pick one up, which is what I did forever ago.
If I were you and I have $40 lying around, I'd invest it. Marr.
No. What are you, my dad? All right. Number 9 is Chromatic Lantern. I don't even think we need to spend too much time on this. It's a 3-mana rock. All your lands produce any color mana, and it produces any color mana. 3-mana rocks are just kind of bad. It's a bad rate. They're so much better, especially when the full cycle of Talismans is out.
Yeah, I feel like the main thing about this is like 4-5 color decks are the example where I think, okay, this card's fine.
Yeah, it's really good fixing. You're kind of just stuck with it. Dryad of Elysian Groves is all right too for those decks, but it does cost green. This is no color investment for totally fixing your mana. But 3-color decks, come on, you're just being lazy.
You just don't need it in 3-color decks.
So many duels. We just got the Modern Horizon lands, and none of them are even that expensive anymore.
Chromatic Lantern is a card that I've slowly drifted away from because I don't have any 4 or 5 color decks.
I can't build a 4 or 5 color deck without taking it apart. It's impossible for me. I need something.
Because 4 color decks are boring. There's too many staple spots.
So boring. I can't do it. You just got to find something that works. But it's so many duels, so many lands. You get no like fun land slots, and then you just it's the slog of staples and the synergy cards. You have no flex slots to be creative.
Yeah, that's the problem with 4 and 5 color.
Sometimes they're just good stuff too. Then you don't have any direction, and if I have no direction to go, I can't really build a deck.
Easy poopy baby.
It's true.
All right, next one. Hold
on. The next one, number 10. Are we in agreement for how many decks this should go in?
0.
Yeah, 0.
Oh, this is absolutely 0.
It's none. Maybe. No, I think it's just none.
I don't even like even with synergy. I don't know what synergies you would want to have for this card to be good.
I was watching a Dalikos video and they had this in there, Batterskull, by the way, and I was just like, no. This is a card that is in your hand, and you have to look at it in your hand. Whew. It is a 4/4 for 5 with Vigilance and Lifelink.
It's an equipment.
Yeah, it's an equipment with Living Weapon, so it's a 4/4 for 5. And then you can, for 5 mana, you can equip it onto something else. Holy crap, that's overcosted for a commander. Obviously, it's insane and constructed because you just play it and it never dies because you can pay 3 and bounce Batterskull to your hand. How much mana am I supposed to have for this?
This card's not good.
No, this card needs equip 2 for like commander.
Even then,
I'm still dissing on it with equip 3.
I'm still dissing on it with equip 2.
It costs 5. It doesn't. Lifelink's fine and all, but it doesn't give trample. It doesn't give evasion at all. Vigilance is
Here's the thing: the equipment you get in commander. Let's just say, because people are going to say, oh, well, in a Stoneforge deck, you can go get this and cheat and play. It's like, yeah, but that's not nearly as good as it is in the 1-on-1 matchup. And you're in a 4-player matchup where an extra 4 power on any creature isn't that insane when it can just be chump because for some reason a battering skull or a battering ram
doesn't trample.
I always hated that.
Or give haste or anything that you think a battering ram would give. No, it sucks the life out of your opponent and you gain life as a result.
It's a battering ram. I don't understand what this battering ram does.
I don't know.
I think this just goes in 0 decks. I don't
see it. You gotta I challenge whoever to like post in the comments on YouTube and just like, what deck does this go in? Where you wouldn't just have. I want my equipment to be cheap and effective, like Skull Clamp, the Greaves and Boots if I'm playing them.
Or if I want it to be bulky, I want it to be insane, like Helm of the Host.
Right, Helm of the Host. Like, let's just go. I have another commander now. Yeah, I saw my spot and I took it. Equip. Let's go. I have another commander.
It's like, yeah, Helm of the Host is it's like, oh no, it costs 9 mana to do, but if it works, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and that card is actually just overrated too. Now that I'm thinking about it, at first, people just threw that at any deck with a commander. That's all of them.
No, you usually want it in decks where you either an extra commander is insane for you,
really good,
or there's like 3 or 4 commanders where it just wins the game.
Yeah, or a combo.
Yeah, what is it?
Aurelia and Godo.
They all
two of them.
They all just win the game.
Mm-hmm. They all 2 of those just win the game.
I feel like there's another one, but
probably doesn't really matter.
I mean, the card's good. It might be overrated, but it's very good. At least, not like Batterskull. It's overrated and very bad.
Yeah, I don't see it, and we're moving on because, like I said, Try drawing Batterskull in your opening hand and telling me that card does anything. Number 11 is Wormcoil Engine. It's 6 mana, 6/6 with lifelink Death Touch. Dies into a 3/3 lifelink and a 3/3 Death Touch. Not zero decks, but you need some gosh darn synergy before you throw this card in your deck.
I like putting it in a lot of. If you have like one of those decks where it's like Duretti decks, I like this in a Duretti deck.
It's like a mid-range Duretti threat. It's so, like that. This is one of the cards. It's not going to clog up your hand when you draw it because your commander actively will filter it for you and then reanimate it later if you need it to.
Yeah, the decks, like I said, a Duretti deck, and it's tough for me to even think of another commander off the top of my head where this goes. I just know it goes in Duretti.
Yeah, we know that. Maybe like an Arkham Dagson deck where you want to destroy artifact creatures and it gives you 2 more.
I put it in Perforos.
Perforos, you can cheat it out. Dies into 2/3/3s, so you get your value from the sneak attack.
Yeah, I like those are the kind of those are some decks like off the top of our head where they go like easily. But
this is so close to Batterskull. It's just a lifelink thing. It's just a thing. It's more. And 1v1, it's like unstoppable because what are they supposed to do? It's 2 Death Touch bodies and 2 lifelink bodies, and whichever one is more annoying, they can't beat. And then, but in Commander, it shrinks and it just kind of doesn't. It just exists. It's more of a vanilla.
Yeah, it's very, very meh.
You attack me, I can't block for some reason. 12-point life swing. I'm over it. Sarah Ascendant is a 12-point life swing on turn 2 or 3 or 4.
Sometimes on turn 1.
I guess. I don't know how you're attacking on turn 1.
Oh, I meant yeah, I guess that's true. I was thinking more of you play it on turn 1. I wasn't really thinking.
But with Sarah Ascendant, when you play on turn 1, you have to wait a whole turn cycle before you get to attack with it.
That's true. And it only gets you infinite advantage for 1 mana.
Card's just annoying.
Yeah, I don't like that card.
Now comparing that to Wormcoil Engine makes me sad.
Because Wormcoil Engine is so much worse.
Yeah, you need artifact synergies, token synergies. Maybe Brutaclad? Brutaclad where you have a lot of ways to sack artifacts.
A Brutaclad sack your Wormcoil Engine, become
turn your team into lifelinkers. That's pretty
or even Death Touchers. Then their blocks are annoying. It's like, ugh.
You want to block my treasure?
Yeah, you want to trade off
block my previous treasure that's now a 3/3.
Oh, that would feel so bad. Yeah, nobody wants to do that. What's the next one?
This was your pick, so you tell me.
Exploration.
I'll let you take the lead on this rant.
This card is good. Very good, actually.
What's it do?
It costs 1 mana, and you can play an extra land each turn. It's an enchantment. The issue here is this isn't a shove. You have to have lots of card draw in these decks. You have to be playing lots of lands, or you have to be playing like Crucible Worlds, or Rampant Excavators, and fetch lands.
Life from Alone.
There's lots of synergies to put where you put this in your deck. It's not just a shove it in your deck card, because if you don't just because again this card hits the point of okay, I have it in my average deck. It's really good on turn 1. It's getting worse on turn 2, worse on turn 3, worse on turn 4, and now by the time you hit late game, unless you have synergies around it, it's just
sits there.
Going to be terrible late game.
If this puts 2 lands in play for you, that is so much worse than just any ramp spell. I'd rather just play a ramp spell. If this puts no lands into play. Oops, that's terrible for you, obviously.
Yep. This is one of those cards where it's you need to look at it from a whole game perspective.
Right, I'm talking blue-green, Lord Windgrace, Angry Omnath. You're just churning through your deck, or you have all of the graveyard and stuff like Life from the Loam and Crucible.
Exactly. This card needs, I think, high synergy.
High synergy or high card velocity.
Yes, in order to want to be in decks. I mean, I think this card is so strong, but so many people put it into decks that don't have synergies, and this card just doesn't go in that deck. You just have to think about it. You're playing Singleton. It's in a 99. The chance of it being in your opening hand is 7%.
It's about as good as Batterskull.
Exactly. So it's 7%. So you shouldn't rely on this being in your opening hand.
No, you can't.
It's at least think about late line of anticipation. It's okay, I want that in my opening hand also. But if I just cast it later in the game, it still does
it's a castable thing. It's the same cost as Vidalcan Orrery.
Yes, exactly. I feel like so many people play this. I've seen this in decks, and it's why? It doesn't do anything in your deck. You don't have any synergy.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? All right, what's this next one?
All right, it's my turn. Cultivate and Rampant Growth. I said they're overrated. Rampant Growth is 1 in a green. Search your library for a basic. Put it in play tapped. And Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. 2 in a green. Search for 2 basics. 1 goes into the hand. 1 goes into play tapped. I think these see play in way too many decks, twice as many as they should. I am talking about any green deck that is creature-based should not play these cards. Any green deck that is like artifact-based should not play these cards. Any green deck that is, what did I miss? Enchantment-based should not play these cards. Any synergy you have, these are the first cards that get overwritten immediately because they just don't do anything for you if you're trying to build around anything at all.
So here's where I disagree. I think Rampant Growth is not very good. I think that there's like 3 other versions of the card that are much, much, much better.
We're talking like Farseek, Nature's Lore is insane, obviously, and then you think Explore is better?
Even, I think Explorer, like the green...
Sakura Tribuilder, we missed, yeah.
Sakura Tribuilder, what's the 2-mana... what's the 2-mana Explorer? Or the blue-green Explorer, I can't think...
Oh, Growth Spiral. I was just trying to keep it in green.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But I think like Growth Spiral, I think like all those cards are better than Rampant Growth. But even Rampant Growth isn't bad. I'm not saying like
you don't lose many
could never
points.
play Rampant Growth.
You don't lose many points on these cards, but anytime, my commander is Carador, or my commander is anything that's Elf Ball, or my commander is anything that's enchantment based, or my commander is a Voltron. It's like, well, these don't do anything for you.
Now, Cultivate, I disagree with BZ. I think
you don't think that. Wait,
I think it is overrated because the percentage of decks in is too high. But
staggering how many decks it's in.
It is staggering, but I think it's still pretty good.
I think it's one of the first cards in your deck that can get overridden with something else that's more synergistic, and then that altogether is better. Like creature deck, what else is better? I'll take it. A blink deck, anything like that. Carador, like Rune, I'm in for Wood Elves.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. And like that's probably true for like people probably play it over those cards in too many situations.
Yeah,
but I think Cultivate's very good. Have you ever cast Cultivate?
Yeah.
When you don't have your land drop, because it feels amazing.
I don't know that I have.
Because it is one of the best. It feels so good to go. I don't have my land drop. I will Cultivate, ramp, and get my land drop. It feels really good.
Why don't you you kept a 3-lander, and I don't know.
That's not even unreasonable. It's not unreasonable.
You kept a, okay, well, you didn't keep a 2-lander. So you kept a 3-lander, and you've had 4 draws, and you haven't found a land?
I kept a 3-lander with Cultivate.
And you have 4 draws, and you didn't draw land?
I got unlucky. It happens.
What?
You've missed your 3rd or 4th land drop. Get out of here. Stop acting like you haven't.
It can bail you out of situations. Although I don't even remember last time I was mana screwed. Very rarely am I missing land drops, and I don't even touch Cultivate.
I've seen you miss land drops.
I miss land drops, but that's in decks where it doesn't really matter.
I've seen you miss land drops and complain about missing land drops.
Well, I'm always going to complain. What are you supposed to do? A Magic player missing a chance to complain about something? Come on now. But yeah, we have him as overrated, as in should not be the most played green card. I'll leave that for like Eternal Witness. Next is Mimic Vat. It's 3 mana for an artifact. Imprint. Whenever a creature dies, you can exile it under Mimic Vat, and you pay 3 and tap it and make a top token that's a copy of the imprinted card.
I'm on the fence about this one. It's one of those cards that I guess I haven't seen a lot of people play it in person, so it hasn't really had the impact of like making me think about it too much.
Maybe I can sell you. All right, 3 mana investment, no payoff. Waiting, something has to die. Something dies. 3 mana tap. You now have a 6 mana. Potentially 2 or 3 turn wait clone.
I think the thing I like about it, the one redeeming factor about that being a lot, that's a lot to put in, is it incidentally graveyard hates.
Kinda. Because when the next card imprints, if you want, the other one goes back.
Oh, does it go back? Never mind. I lied.
So not really graveyard hate, and it's an expensive clone, so keep it for token synergies, where you want a token of things you can't really make tokens of.
But it can hate on death triggers, right? Or is it die and then trigger? I don't know what this card
Just had the card up. Nope, it's not instead. It's you may exile it after it dies.
Okay, never mind. I don't like this card.
At least it
costs 1 million mana to get one thing.
And then you can get another thing later.
It fits in Brutaclad, again.
It's in Brutaclad. Some of these cards just fit in Brutaclad. Next is Brainstorm. Whoa, Brainstorm. It's broken in Legacy and they should ban it.
That's true.
It's overrated in Commander, though.
This is simple. If you don't have tons of fetch lands, tons of ways to shuffle your deck, this card becomes very not worth it.
If you don't care about an instant, like a 1-mana instant, this is just a cantrip. There's a lot of cantrips that aren't going to screw you over, that can give you plenty of looks at a land. I've seen so many people Brainstorm lock themselves that it's just like, why are you playing Brainstorm in your Zombies deck? Why are you playing Brainstorm in this like aggro Voltron deck? What is it doing for you? It's just a thing. It's not busted. It's not like the best thing you could ever do.
Unless you have tons of synergies.
Play a creature in your creature deck instead. It's just like this is like Cultivate and Exploration rants combined, where it's great and needs to go in the right deck, and you need high synergy or high fetch velocity. Let's say.
I mean, I like if you don't have a ton of ways to shuffle your library, Preordain's better, Ponder's better. I like Serum Vision's better, even in
Gitaxian Probe.
Gitax.
There's a cantrip. Gitaxian Probe.
Well, that's a dumb card.
Yeah, Thought Scour is pretty sweet.
I mean,
Especially with Brainstorm. Leave 2 on top. Mill them.
got him. What a
There's your tech of the day.
You may think that's like synergistic and like no one's gonna do it, but that's like a common pauper thing. Pauper.
Oh, Pauper. Brainstorm and Thought Scour. What a format.
Yep.
Your opponent plays like Llanowar Elf, and that's the best thing in their whole deck. But you're like brainstorming and playing Delver Secrets. Okay. What? Oh, and Counterspell, of course. Is that banned? Gush? I don't think Gush is banned.
I don't pay attention to that format. It's not a real format.
This is what the cards we're listing. Okay.
Talk about-
Let's get to some 7 and 8 mana plays, all right? What's number 16?
Debtor's Knoll. This costs 7 mana, and at the beginning of your PP, you reanimate a creature. No. What do we say about Phyrexian Arena and having to wait a whole turn?
This is 7. We just take the Phyrexian Arena rant and then skip to the Mimic Vet rant, and then you have the Debtor's Knoll rant.
There's so many of these. Oh my god, Debtor's Knoll should be. This is one of those where it's like,
I'm thinking 0.
I don't know how many decks can cheat enchantments out. Not many. It's not a very common thing to be able to do.
Self-mill replenish. There's so many things I'd rather self-mill replenish than this.
I kind of like if you're all in on like, say you're playing like a blue-white black deck. So it has to be an Esper specifically, and you're going for the self-mill thing. And you're going for the replenish. So you have blue, so you can tutor up your replenish. Then I almost like it.
No, yeah, that is just a waste of your time. Play some combo then. I don't know what you're doing with Debtors now. It's too expensive. Ray of Dawnbringer, lumping you in with this one because it's the same thing.
Oh, Ray of Dawnbringer is poop.
What is she? Is she 9 mana?
She's 9 mana.
She's 6 white for a something that does the same thing as Debtors now.
Like
it's too expensive. You never want it. Let me paint you a picture. You play Debtors now, and you're in the universe where 2 out of 10 times it doesn't die to incidental or targeted removal because that is just a juicy steak waiting for someone to just come in and grab it. And it's like, oh, nice mana advantage. You don't get anything. Or so it survives, and you get back Shield Dread Whispering One, another probably overrated card, although it does have an immediate impact on the game. So whatever. You get back Shield Dread, great, and then you get an awesome thing, and then that's great. Or you just 3, 4, 5 turns ago, you just cast Animate Dead, and then you have a whole rest of your turn to play other things, and you still have a Shield Dread.
Yeah, and it's like once this character go around twice before it's even worth it.
Yeah, 2 creatures, and that's 1, 2, 3 turns. 3 of your turns.
Even then, you can just play Victimize. And I'm not even saying I like Victimize very much.
Victimize is fine. Victimize is the card I don't put in decks either, but I just think I don't build decks that Victimize goes
I'm
in.
just saying,
there's so many better. Just play a single target reanimation. How about Dread Return? That gets back 2 creatures.
Well, I think that's
one of them costs 0. Flashback is 0 mana. You just stack a couple creatures.
My whole point to like Victimize here is it costs 2 less mana to get 2 creatures back, and you don't have to wait 2 turn cycles.
2 less mana? It's 4 less mana. The Debtors know.
Oh.
Victimize is 2 and a black.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Ever After? Ever After is better than this. It's 6 mana, reanimate 2 things.
What's the one that Rescue from the Underworld is even better
Sack
than?
a thing, bring back the thing, and the sack thing.
Yeah, that
5
feels
mana.
so much better. Oh, there's so many. Everything is better than Debtors. No,
Yeah, we don't even like almost any of the cards we mentioned.
no, I don't. I don't like too many of the cards, but I just can keep listing them because they're all better.
And I don't. The Debtors Knell is one where it's like, I don't know exactly how many people are playing it, but I think they all should.
No,
So
nobody.
like PSA.
Yeah, nobody should play that card. This next one is also, unless you're reanimating it on turn 2 often, I wouldn't play this card too often. Everson, Angel of Hope, they cost 8 mana.
5. Wait for an 8/8 flying vigilance. All your permanents are indestructible, including her. Including her. The can't destroy anything.
I think it's a cool, flavorful card. I love the card personally, like especially on a point of like looking at it from like not just like a power standpoint. It's so cool.
How about this flavor thing I just thought of, a little nugget for you. You have Everson, Angel of Hope, and the Hell Vault. They can never destroy the Hell Vault. Can't destroy Hell Vault. Can't free Everson.
I don't understand.
Well, the Hell Vault's there to get destroyed. Can't destroy it with Everson.
Oh, but she was in it when they got destroyed. Just say it.
I know, but it's funny to think of there's a situation where they can't destroy the Hell Vault.
There's
Everson's already there.
There's a lot of weird situation. Like, if you imprison something in the moon that is imprisoned and can't be destroyed because Everson's around. Everson protects the moon.
Not the moon. No one's trying to destroy the moon. There's no Gru going to like blow things up.
No. If you, well, yeah, but
the act of imprisonment is indestructible.
Yeah, the act of the imprisonment in the moon. Like
the reading of the scrolls by Tamio, it's indestructible.
Enchantments are really good. There's a lot.
Enchantments are the worst.
Enchantment of the thought of in the enchantment of exploration is indestructible because of Everson.
Indestructible. No stopping me from exploring. Manifest destiny. Let's go.
Well, okay. Well, maybe we should get into why this card's overrated, though.
I guess.
It's 8 mana. It's good, and it's gonna like if it comes down and sticks, the game starts to form around it. 8 mana spells just shouldn't be in too many decks.
And if you're an 8 mana spell, and I'm me trying to like, and you want to get played by me, you have to like have an ETB or a dies, and then give me a back rub and go infinite because I don't know what you want from me. 8 mana is like, okay, I'm gonna win, or I'm gonna get really close to winning, or I'm gonna do some not infinite thing that like blows everything up, or gives me a bunch of cards. Like, what is this? This doesn't do anything.
2 examples off the top of my head of cards that I would consider at 7 and 8 mana. I think they both might be 8.
Terastodon and Woodfall Primus. There you go.
Well,
there's 2.
Those are different ones because those are flicker things. I guess I had 2 different ones.
Okay, what?
Razaketh.
Okay,
because he's just gonna win the game when he comes out.
Unstoppable almost.
And Villas.
Villas Broker. Yeah, he's good. Especially if you have a pay life outlet in play, like not a Necropotence. That was the first thing I thought of. But just, I mean, that deck has obviously like Wall of Blood or probably something else.
There aren't 0 8 mana spells you should play, but there are very few.
This isn't even foolproof. It doesn't, like we said, doesn't die to all the best stuff you can do.
There's especially the most played spot removal spell in EDH is Swords to Plowshare.
Well, we keep saying the big 3, right? It's Psych Rift, Swords, Plowshares, and Crackling Doom. Just eat this thing for breakfast.
Toxic Deluge, another great example.
Attack, Tragic Arrogance, blah, blah, Evacuation, anything that just even an unsummon. It just bounces your thing. And like Mystic Confluence, bounce it. Oh, that feels miserable.
The argument of dice removal becomes much more relevant when you have to invest 78 mana.
It's mana disadvantage when it dies to anything or is interacted with at all. My 1 mana guy dying to spot removal or being swept up in a board wipe is irrelevant.
That's very true. And one last one, and this one's more, it's really for discussion because like, I think this card is overrated because I almost don't play it as much.
I think so a little bit. I have a lot of decks. I don't play this one.
Same here.
We saved it for the end. Chris Daughtry style. It's Solemn Simulacrum. 4 mana for a 2/2 artifact creature. ETB, get a land, puts it into play tapped. When it dies, draw a card.
This card is good, but
it's a jack of all trades, master of none.
It's true.
Maybe you should get yourself a master and just forget the other trade.
Yeah, like Wood Owls for 1 less mana feels so much better. You just don't need the draw at the end of it, and also you get to wait for it to die. I mean, I don't think this card is bad by any stretch of the meaning. Bad.
You're playing it in white. You're playing it in red. You're playing it in Boros. I think when we leave those colors, it starts to get more interesting.
I mean, I would play it in mono black maybe, because like
mono black where you need the swamps specifically because Cabal Coffers isn't banned.
Yeah, there is a lot of decks that play this in, but it's, again, I don't want this in any green deck.
Nope, I don't think you should play in any green deck. It's 1 mana too expensive. You want all of your guys to be at 3. You've got awesome stuff like Springbloom Druid and Wood Elves, and Farhaven Elf even is okay. Yavimaya Rangers, still fine.
And there's an infinity number of non-creature ramp spells to play over this too, depending on your deck.
Whatever you're actually up to.
But I don't really...
Burnish Heart's better?
Yes, I think Burnish Heart is much better than Solemn Simulacrum.
I don't know where I stand on that, but you want to be in a Flicker deck or a Dies deck or an Artifact deck, something that takes advantage to where you can say, all right, I can do something with Solemn Simulacrum, not just it's a staple, so I put it in. Like, that should never be your reason for playing Solemn, I don't think.
I would include Burnished Heart before I include Solemn. I think it's more of an investment, but getting 2 lands out of it is so huge, and I don't know. I don't have a problem with Solemn, like, per se. I just don't think it should go in as many decks as it does.
I have a mono blue Emery control deck, and I took Solemn out, and I haven't taken out Burnished Heart. The 1 mana difference was huge. I could never, ever, ever play Solemn Simulacrum and hold up the instants and counter spells I wanted to. Ever. I was like, it's like turn 9. And I'm like, nope, still not worth it. And then after that, I have like 12 lands. What am I supposed to do? I just dead card. I just took it out. Burnished Heart it was way different for me. I was like, all right, I'll play it. I'll crack it if somebody does something. But if they don't, I can just wait, crack it next turn.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody does something, you counter it, and then you still have Burnished Heart.
Well, I'm saying if somebody tries to kill Burnished Heart, or there's a board wipe, it's like, all right, cool. Now my shields can go down, and I'll just crack the heart. Whatever. Great. Solemn, just teensy bit overrated. Make sure you stick to the synergy. It's like the common theme is a lot of these cards. Just before you like go for staples and make your deck less synergistic, just check for other stuff. Play a more synergistic card that doesn't draw a card when it dies. That's not the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah, it's really like synergies in EDH are so important. Like, you want to synergize to your deck and do what your deck wants to do, and not just go, well, I saw Swiftbolt Boots is in 99% of decks on EDH track.
Slam it into my Jace Friends Prodigy deck.
Really want him to be tapping on turn 3.
I was thinking of one of the worst commanders to put it on.
It's really funny because if you think, like, oh man, if I play Boots on turn 2, then I can play Jace on turn 3 and tap him immediately.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Whoa. Take your attack. All right, that was our newest Best Commander podcast. I am also going to put up a poll in the YouTube community tab section, which might already be up. It'll already be up by the time you see this, so just go see the poll, because I want to see how our subscribers respond to the podcast in general. Who wants it? Who is indifferent? Because most people are just indifferent. We're just not going to keep doing it, but we wanted to do this one at least.
Well, we're going to keep doing it for a couple weeks until we get feedback again.
Well, the feedback is I'm about to poll every single subscriber. Whoever sees it, like, we'll probably get 50-ish responses, 100.
Yes. Is the podcast important to you? Do you listen to the podcast? Do you listen to it on YouTube? Do you prefer this format over perhaps other types of formats we do? I mean, these are all things you can tell us in the comments below.
Because realistically, anything we do in a podcast can just be a video. It's just the label of the podcast and the fact that we're putting it up on podcast things.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how many.
Google Play, Spotify, iTunes. We didn't say that.
I haven't been able to find any numbers to, like,
yeah, we're lacking data, but let's just go to the end and thank people who make the show possible.
Special shout out to our 36 patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable.
We're rolling in so much patron dough at this point, but we need more. We need more because we're greedy and we want to. We're not actually rolling in patron dough. It's just going back into the channel. We want to put more money back to the channel, make it better, get a studio eventually, get mics, get gameplay. We keep talking about it. We're just building up funds again for our next big shopping spree. So you can go to patreon.com/user/nitpickingnerds. Check us out, donate monthly, or if you want to give us a digital tip, go to buymeacoffee.com, because that app is just another cool way to support us. Also, if you want to support yourself and us at the same time, go to TcgPlayer.com. The link is in the description of the YouTube video. Buy any cards through the link, navigate wherever you want, whatever. It'll take you to a card or something. I guess none of these cards, because we don't want you to buy them. And then it'll support the channel with whatever monetary funds you spend.
Go ahead. Buy your Blightsteel Colossus off a TcgPlayer.
Go ahead. Buy your Blightsteel.
Go ahead. Spend your $60 on your garbage card.
Is that card $60?
I gotta check. I made up a number, but it might be.
54.
All right.
Ooh.
I wasn't even that far off.
Overpriced. It's going to be on the overpriced section next.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done. Do the thing.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.